The coldest night of the year has all of the elements of a great Canadian fundraising event. The imminent threat of snow, freezing rain, or a warm, embalming Chinook. It also has the sight of thousands of Canadians wearing toques outside at the end of February. I mean, it's quintessentially Canadian. It's rapturesque. I was trying to find another word, but I couldn't roll with it. But of course, all great fundraisers actually, raise money. So we've created 8 tips to help you along your way. Here's the thing. We've created these videos for the Ride for Refuge, and we filmed it in the summer. So I need you to do a little translation when you watch this video. When you hear the term rider, think walker. When you hear about rain, think snow. If you see or hear about helmets, think toque. And when you think bike, think warm, cozy boots. So, bundle up, wrap a blanket around you at home, sit in front of the fire, have your mom make you some cocoa, sit there, watch these videos, and learn and have fun. And remember, fundraising. Say it with me, fundraising. You must be desperate if you've clicked on this video. That's okay, we can help you. If you type that word into Google, you will die. There must be 500 million resources available online. And what we did is we looked at all of the tips over the last 25 years. We've boiled all of that data down to 8 tips that we think will help you do just fine this year. First tip is you've got to understand your donor, and you've got to understand these types of events. While the Ride for Refuge is an amazing event, let's be honest, it's a common event. Lots of rides, lots of runs. Last year in North America, over $1.6 billion was raised in the top 30 fundraisers. What I want you to understand is that most of your friends have asked most of your friends who have asked most of your friends to support them in some sort of a fundraising initiative. So relax. We get it. It's just part of the flow. People give all the time. They're going to want to give to you. Second thing I want you to do, whatever you do, is that you've got to make it personal. If you get a mass email that you're copied in on to 10 or 15 or 30 people asking for money, asking for help, what's the easiest thing you can do? You can completely ignore it. And why shouldn't you? The writer may have really good intentions, but they chose to group you all together and treat you all the same. But if they really want your support, I'd like to think that they look you in the eye or call you up or even write the letter personally to you. So that's my challenge. In fundraising, whatever you do, make it personal. Do it over coffee, do it face to face, make a phone call, that's fine. Just don't do the, hey everybody, feel sorry for me and give me 20 bucks. But don't take it personally. People say no for a lot of reasons. Sometimes they really don't have money. Sometimes they just don't like you and they don't want to give to you. Sometimes they're having a bad week or they're having a bad day. Sometimes they just don't remember to give to you. So whatever you do, get a good list of people that think will support you and don't take it personally. And they'll love it. Now, 2 more tips, and this is really important. Well, they're all really important, but these ones are super important stuff. First thing you need to do when you begin to fundraise is you've got to set a goal. Don't be stupid about it, but set a goal that's reasonable. So what's reasonable? The average writer raises about 250 to 300 bucks. Some people raise 8 or 10,000. Some people raise 100 bucks. Some people raise less. But you want to make it worth your time. If it's too low, they'll be thinking, well, why are you even involved? What's 100 bucks of your time worth? If they see that you've got a big goal and it seems worthy of the cost, that'll help too. Think about this. You're going to ask your mom and dad. You're going to ask your brother. You're going to ask your uncle. You're going to talk to your youth leader. You're going to speak to your boss. You're going to speak to your friend, your best friend. Just remember this. The average donor gives about 50 bucks. Some will give 1,000, some will give 10 bucks, some will give 2 bucks. That's fine. But most people just say, look, if this is serious enough to you that you're going to physically hurt yourself or injure yourself for 2 or 3 hours of effort, then they're going to support you. So make sure you ask 8, 10, 20 people, and about half of them will give to you, and you raise your $300, $400, $500, no sweat. Second tip is really simple. You've got to be the first donor on your list. Your name should be at the very top of your donor list. Brian Carney. Ask him, Brian, will you give to me? Yes, I will. Brian, how much are you going to give? 50 bucks. You've got to give some money to yourself. Pledge it. If you don't have a credit card, that's fine. Just pledge it, punch it into the system, and you be the first donor that's there. Don't give anonymously. You believe in this thing. Otherwise, you wouldn't put yourself through all this pain. So give to yourself first. It'll set the high bar for donors, and they'll know that you're fully vested. Okay? That's it. Another important tip in fundraising is that you've got to share your story. Make sure you don't flood your donors with tons of data that they simply can't relate to or connect to. People get that the world is broken. They get that there are problems. They know the refugee challenge. They know that there's war, and they know that there's famine, and they know the challenge of street kids and the plague that we call human trafficking. I mean, it's just sick. The very best thing you can do is not to flood them with all that data. The sheer weight of all of that content can overwhelm me. It can overwhelm you. Share your story. Tell them why this matters to you. Because in the end, people give to people. So while they care about all that data, they really care about you a great deal. Hey, second point, whatever you do, be bold, but don't be too pushy. I've got a friend who year after year is involved with a fundraising event, and every year I get a chuckle out of the type of email or letter that he sends. Sometimes it's like absolutely gut-splitting, funny email. And I never feel pushed. I never feel irritated. If anything, I'm somewhat entertained by his different approach year after year. And I always give. I want to. You may wonder, well, how many letters should I send out? Do I send like 10 emails out? Of course not. Send one good email. Make it personal. If the donor you send it to doesn't respond back personally or acknowledge it in some way, then I would send one more email for sure 3 or 4 days before your event. You'll be surprised how many donors give to you on the Saturday or Sunday of your event, or even a week or two later. So you need to be bold without being pushy. You'll have great success, and your donors year after year will appreciate it. If you treat them well this year, they're certainly going to come back next year as well. Okay, the last 2 tips are critical. You've got to get these. Everything I'm about to say is pivotal. All of us can put our fundraising off. And an important tip as you move forward is begin now. Don't put it off. All I can say is the sooner you get at this, the better it's going to be for you. So get that thing out there and get going. You know, the way I do it actually is I ask my mom in the morning while Dad's out, and she usually gives by noon. Then I get Dad that night, and Dad will give me some additional money. So I mean, your technique's your technique, but get those simple, you know what, I call it low-hanging fruit. It's like someone who you know will just give to you right away. So begin with them, get that donation. You make your first donation to yourself, and you get that other person to get in there quick, and then away you go. So you followed some of these rules. You've had a successful fundraising campaign. You've sent out great personal emails. You've followed up. You've been persistent but not pushy. You've shared your story without flooding them with detail. You've done all of that. At the end of this event, take a moment and say thank you. I've seen a little YouTube clip someone takes and they send it out to everyone that supported them. A really neat card where there's a picture of the rider sweaty and muddy and probably a little angry at the end of the event. Or you can just pick up the phone and say, thank you. The last thing your donor will remember is that you appreciated their contribution to you. So make sure you close that loop. It's important for them to know that you're acknowledging their effort. And remember, they'll be thinking about you, especially if the weather's awesomely bad, right? Like if it's rainy or snowy, snowy is a word. If it's rain, it doesn't matter. If it's bad weather, they'll certainly be thinking about, they'll wonder, hey, how did that go? Thanks, guys.